This is David Bruce Leonard from the Earth Medicine Institute here with Ken Bustio talking about martial arts protective gear. We do all kinds of training. We do regular straight up martial arts training. We do scenario based self-defense training. We do a lot of woofing. What do you think about what we do?
Safety first, for sure. The idea is to not get hurt in training, but to be able to prepare yourself for real life violent altercations. I mean, there's some give and take. I personally don't have extensive experience with lots of different kinds of protective gear, but to be able to inflict these blows, strikes, what have you, full force on your training partner, it's definitely important to have some kind of protective gear. Otherwise, as you know, you'll run out of training partners very quickly.
Right, they're hard to come by. Good training partners are really hard to come by. Yeah, we use Predator armor for a lot of our training. It's awesome. I feel really safe in it. Some of the limitations of it, however, it's a little too bulky to do grappling. So we're currently looking at some of Tony Blauer's gear so that we can do takedowns and things like that. This was mostly designed, as far as I know, for full high adrenaline self-defense scenarios, but it is a bit bulky, so that's the downside. We have a couple of crotch guards, which is really important. And something else that we do is we try and, there's a natural way that as civilized humans there's an instinctive inability to hurt another person. And it's really important if you're doing self-defense to get over that. If somebody's preying on you, predating on you, you need to stop them as much as you can to stop them from hurting you. And sometimes that will mean inflicting physical injury. So we have to get over our natural hesitation, especially under adrenaline, to either freeze or to pull our punches the way you would in a karate tournament. So we have, we put faces on our Muay Thai pads, which gets us used to the idea of not only hitting a face, but following through. Any thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, there's always a compromise in training. The more safe, the more measures you take to make your training safer, the more you limit yourself in what you actually can do in real life application to an extent.
Right.
So my impression of, say, the Predator gear is it's most effective for being on the receiving end of whoever is practicing and learning the techniques and strikes. But it's not for the person in the suit. It's much more cumbersome to fight back in a realistic way, or to some degree even to attack in a realistic way. But again, the virtue of it is that it adds to that adrenaline rush, because you can really cut loose in the woofing part and just go straight at your intended victim so that they can unleash their techniques. As far as hitting the faces, yeah, it's fun. Today was my first day playing with that, and it definitely helps with targeting a little bit, sharpening up your strikes.
Yeah, and there's always a trade-off. The more protection you have, the less mobility you have typically, and that's, the old Bullet Man suits, those guys, Bill Kipp has gotten a number of concussions, a lot of concussions in the old Bullet Man suit because his head would rock back. In this suit, your head does not rock back because the percussion is actually being transferred from the face to the chest. So, and then we also have closed-toed boots, steel-toed boots that we use, and shin protection for stomps and things like that. So I love the Predator suit. I'm looking forward to getting more gear and to really refining what we're doing. Lately we've been working a lot with Rory Miller's ideas, which I really love, about realism. And one of the downsides of training that Rory Miller talks about is that intensity is not necessarily realism. So we've been slowing down our training a lot, which they also do in FAST and in model mugging.
Okay. Absolutely, in training, safety is important. You don't want to injure your training partner. However, one drawback or limitation of using safety gear, say beyond its intended purpose, is that you sacrifice a bit of the realism of dynamics of real life fighting. And Miller says you just have to identify the flaw in every drill, and you have to identify the flaw in your equipment as well. How does it limit you? This type of thing is great for someone who's learning how to deliver the blows and inflict as much damage full force. At the same time, it limits the receiver, the person who's on the uke, if you will, the person who's receiving or playing the predator. It does limit them to some degree in how they're going to respond, fight back, attack, what have you.
Right. Yeah, and this is not designed for sparring, but
Correct.
exactly.
Yeah.
I wear a regular cup as well as that. When I started working with Fast, I wore just that, and I ended up getting clipped a few times on the sides, which is a memorable experience. So anybody that's using this crotch guard, I recommend wearing a cup underneath. And we will actually use these together while holding pads and doing Muay Thai training, and it's really great for being able to throw full force knees, but not to pads. So the body mechanics is a little closer to realism than just holding pads down to take knee shots.
When you're going full force with knees against those things, you can easily miss and hit your training partner in the femur, which is not fun.
That's right.
So, again, it's protecting your groin, obviously, but what am I trying to say here? It's leaving other things open as you up your intensity in training.
That's true.
as well.
That's true. If something is just outside the armor
Yeah.
and you're throwing full force, you can
So,
hazard whatever's outside.
so I guess a conclusion I'm coming to is that this type of gear might be best suited for specific techniques and training particular blows and targets, where something more comprehensive might be beneficial for just free form.
And we are working on doing personal safety salons. A lot of stuff besides just self-defense around home safety, car safety, reading body language, pre-attack cues, things like that. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.